Okay, and we are live. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Command Your Confidence. I'm here joined today by Mr. Locario. How's it going, buddy?
I'm chilling. What's going on with you? How's everything?
Oh, I'm chilling, man. Just keeping busy like always, and running. Just having guests like you like come on my channel and talk about how to like make guys become better, in their lives and everything, and develop better mindsets and everything. So I really appreciate you coming on. And tell me a little bit about yourself.
Oh, and I'm good, man. I'm glad you got me on here, man. I appreciate you reaching out to me and all that. So, for those who don't know, my name is Mr. Locario. They call me the bad boy of the dating game. So I've been coaching men and women for the past damn near 15 years at this point. So just teaching people how to find what they want in their dating lives, get exactly what they want, and just trying to keep it real out here so that people can really get progress instead of just, because I know there's a lot of people that'll just say things because it sounds cool, it looks nice, and it just feels good. But I want to help people really get to where they want to go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So how do you end up getting into like wanting to help guys out with their, getting to where they want to go? What inspired you to do that?
Yeah. So I used to, before I was doing all of this, I used to work in Harlem, and I used to do video production. So I would work with kids and teach them how to use cameras, and we would do like visual projects, stuff like that. And then after that, I started working at like a gym and stuff. So I was just in between all these different jobs, and I was like, I want to do something that is my own thing that I'm doing, that's my own business, but something that I'm good at. And ultimately, I like helping people. So I was like, this is the perfect thing. Because I was like, man, I'm out here doing my thing with the ladies. So let me teach guys how to make this happen. So that's how I started first, just teaching guys and putting out videos on YouTube. And just from that, it just snowballed. And then I just kept doing that for years. So I started on YouTube in like 2008. So it was like a while ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, you've been out for a while, man.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Right.
So,
it's been a minute.
Exactly. So, one of the things I really like about, because I've actually started, I think I came across your channel back in, I think 2018 through 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I really liked about what you talked about, you always preached about mindset and how that's important, because like I think a lot of people overlook like the mindset aspect of the thing. They kind of like want the skill set to go out there, and like you got to have the mindset to do that,
right. No, that's true. The thing is, you got to understand, like, mindset is very important, because what happens is that you can have a skill set to do something, but then what happens is if your mindset if you don't have the right mindset, then it's actually hard to keep it going or be consistent with that skill set. So I can teach you how to do something, but if you don't have the right mindset when it comes to doing it, what's going to happen is that the times where you're not motivated to do it, you're probably just not going to do it. If there's times where you do it and you don't get this specific outcome, you're going to not want to do it. And so what happens is that what really makes the skill set have some substance and work is that you have the mindset behind it. You see what I'm saying? And so that's the thing with a lot of, people when they get into, learning game and learning how to attract women and stuff like that, they're looking for what to say and what to do, but they're not really taking heed on the type of man they have to be in the first place. You see what I'm saying? That's,
right, exactly. Why do you think they overlook that? Like, because I mean, that is critical, like to have that, Why is that?
Well, I think that one of the biggest things is because when you don't understand game and you don't understand attraction, you don't understand how this works, is that you think it's like a magic trick. You think that it's something that you'll learn a certain thing to do or say, and that's going to make everything fall into place. And it's not really about that. It's more so about the person behind what's being said and what's being done. And so that's the reason why you can have two people say the same exact thing, do the same exact thing, and one person's going to succeed and one person's not. And usually what happens is the only difference between them is their mindset and how they're coming at it, because people underestimate the power or the significance of energy in an interaction when you're doing what you're doing. So for example, if you have someone who, let's say, you have somebody who's a bully in school, and that bully he's bigger, he's bigger than all the other kids, and he just pushes all these kids around or whatever, right? Now, what makes the kid scared of that bully is not only because he's bigger than them or whatever, it's because that bully believes that he can beat up these kids. You know what I'm saying? He believes that these kids, you know, so
exactly.
it's like, I can just go up to them and say this. So another person could mimic what that bully's doing, but they don't have the same energy as the bully, so it probably won't give off the same effects. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the combination of him doing what he's doing, but also the mindset behind what he's doing that makes him do what he does. You see what I'm saying? And makes it
the energy, because if you're not projecting the proper energy and the proper mindset, it's not going to be as effective. Whereas someone who can have the proper mindset and energy, they're going to be able to, like, it's going to be more effective.
Right. And that's why a lot of stuff, you know, when people, you know, a lot of times people try on the game, meaning they try to, you know, I've heard people say, well, I tried to be confident. And it's like, it's not something you try to do. You know what I mean? It's something that you recognize and you become, and that becomes part of your essence. And so what happens is that when you're trying to, you know, just like do the skill set, what happens is that if you don't have any foundation behind it, it's gonna fall apart. You understand what I'm saying? Because, for example, I can teach a guy how to approach women and certain things to say that will help him get into a conversation. But then what's going to happen is that, let's say that girl doesn't want to talk to him, or let's say that girl is rude to him. Let's say that girl kind of ignores him. Because he doesn't have the right mindset, he might feel bad about that situation. And then him feeling bad about the situation is going to stop him from trying to talk to another girl. Or if he does talk to another girl, he's going to come at it with this very negative sort of defeated energy, and that's going to ruin the interaction. You see what I'm saying?
Right. No, you know, and that's what I've realized too, when you know, because you know, I worked with another mentor back in Vancouver, and like he taught me how to go out there and just be like social during the day. And this is the first time I ever had to go be social without drinking alcohol.
Right.
So it was a bit of a challenge. And I just remember when I first started out, like, you know, like I lacked like the confidence. I didn't believe that like shit could happen. But you know, like, and I realized that was affecting my interactions, and that's what he was telling me. But then I would try to put on a false, you know, fake confidence. You know what I'm saying? You know, and that can, you know, the girl will pick up on that, like if you have fake confidence. And you know, I realized, you know, it's just an interaction. And I think the one thing that was you know, I was struggling with is I kind of gave a damn about like the end result instead of realizing that it's like you know, it's like a learning process.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's something that takes time. And I think a lot of times people come into this like, you know, if you're a virgin who's never really talked to a woman, you know, you're not going to come to a dating coach or anybody else who is going to just tell you these little, you know, things or one-liners or something to say, and then automatically you're going to be out there making it happen. It doesn't necessarily work that way. And the thing is that people have to understand that it takes time to develop this skill set and also develop that mindset in order to get to where you want to go. So it's like, you know, just like working out. If you're working out, you know, you're not going to work out for a week and then, you know, have super big muscles. It takes over time as you're doing it on a consistent basis. Then you start to see the progress. Then you start to see the results. It's the same thing when talking to women and, you know, making things happen. Same exact thing, you know?
Right, exactly. So you got to put in that consistency and everything. Exactly. And then eventually that's what helps you build your confidence and your skill set level. Yeah. And that's what I noticed too, like, cause I was like, when I would sometimes be lazy and shit, you know, like I would, you know, I'd still go do it, but I wouldn't be doing it as much as I should be doing it. And I realized that was a problem. And like, I had to kind of develop the discipline, like finally like go out there and just like kind of be more, you know, go be social with other people and go be social with women, you know, even though, and I had to realize, you know, like you can't win all the time, you know, but like I had some wins, which is good.
Right. No, that's what it is that it's going out there to get the wins so that you can see it's possible. And I think that's what people got to work their way to. I think so many guys that give up because they go out there, they talk to 3 girls, those 3 girls don't want to talk to them, or they reject them, and now they're like, I'm done. You feel what I'm saying? So they have to actually put themselves out there, see some progress so that they can see for themselves that it's possible for them. You see what I mean? That's
Right.
the
Yeah,
way it is.
exactly.
Right.
But that will help them like change their mindset about things. And like they go out
Right.
and and it's all about breaking out of your comfort zone. I mean, I have a lot of the people that you come to you, do you think they like have a hard time breaking out of their comfort zone? Because I was struggling at first doing that too, just doing some talking to ladies during the day. I used to rely on alcohol as like a drug just to kind of get me social, and like it was
Right.
difficult, like I said.
Oh yeah, well, it is difficult because this is the thing. Breaking out the comfort zone means that you're breaking out of a habit and you're breaking out of something that you're used to. And so what happens is that you have to make a conscious decision to do something different in order to get the different result. But it's scary for some people because what happens is that what you're essentially saying is that I'm going into uncharted territory. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'm ready for what's going to happen, because the reason, and this is the funny part, some people would actually like to stay at where they're at, even though they're not getting success, because they're like, well, at least I know what this is. At least I'm familiar with not having a date on a Friday night. I'm familiar with, being nervous approaching women. But then what happens is that if they step out of that situation and actually try to, switch it up and move forward, then what will happen is that they're going to get different outcomes, but they're too scared or nervous about what that outcome could be. You know what I'm saying? Even if it is a success, because the problem is also is that once you get success, then what happens is that sometimes success will bring a whole nother variety of variables that you didn't even know because you were never in this situation before. You see what I'm saying? So before you were like, okay, well, I'm a virgin, like I never talked to a girl and I'm just scared to approach. And then at some point you say, okay, I got to just get over this and approach. So now you start approaching, and let's say you start interacting with girls to the point where you're exchanging numbers or getting phone numbers or whatever. Now it's like, oh my God, like, how do I set up a date? How do I, do this? And so now you have a whole nother thing to think about. You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
the
Yeah,
guys are
exactly.
ready for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like one process after another. Like you have to learn something new.
Right.
No, but I agree. You mentioned something earlier, like that's what I was used to like living a certain way, but I think what did it for me was that frustration, and I just wanted to learn to like break out of that frustration.
Right.
Because when I came out, I'm in Arizona right now. When I came out here, I came out here with a girl I was with. It didn't work out. It was my first time being all on my own. I didn't really.
Right.
I lived with my mom for like 35 years of my fucking life, and
wow.
yeah, I know. Right, I had a hard time finding a job, but it was like a new experience, though. Just like for me, being on my own, trying to go out there and meet new people. And I was using the dating apps, but I got tired of all like the dating apps. I wasn't meeting the women that I wanted to meet.
Right.
And so that's why I decided, like, I got frustrated at one point. I'm like, I'm just gonna figure out how I can do this. I've been on this path for about like. I mean, I've always dabbled in game. Like, I got into it like when I found I don't like read this anymore, but the mystery method and
I remember
by Neil Strauss. I would actually, and that really, I mean, it got me talking to girls, but it was more of like small talk. It didn't really, wasn't really what I wanted. Like, it wasn't getting me anything. And so when I came back, so I found some friend. I got into like one of the forums for like the RSD community here. And I found a few friends, and I'd go out with them. But like they would just go out and just say goofy shit, and not they like. I remember my one buddy. He'd walk up to a girl with a straw and take a drink out of her. Use it with the straw with her. And that it was funny, but like it would get us nowhere really. And
right.
Because like you're going out there doing stupid shit, but then you're just like not conveying confidence, projecting that vibe and that attractive vibe and stuff. And so I'm just like, screw it, man. I'm gonna I think it was just more of like frustration and like I think just having a mentor there for you too to help guide you and see okay, they give you instruction on what to do, and then kind of like they assess what it is you're doing and how you can see how you can do different or better next time. And I think that helps a bit.
Yeah, and you know what it is too is that what a lot of people don't understand about gaming, just getting to a certain level, is that what you want to do is you want to get in a flow state, meaning that you want to get into a flow of interactions that serve you. And so, for example, meaning that, let's say, for example, you are out there and you're going out and you're getting rejected and you're not getting any progress or whatever it is like that, right?
Right.
What happens is that you'll sometimes it's hard to get out of that because you're going to keep doing that's going to keep happening on a certain level, meaning that you're going to start getting more rejections because you're upset about the rejections you're getting, and then so your mindset is getting you into more situations where more rejections are going to come because you have that energy of a guy who's frustrated, even though you might not even say it or try to reveal it. That frustration is there, so that it just compounds, and then more and more rejection happens, more and more rejections happens. So the opposite is also true. When you get into a state where you're getting this girl, you're getting that girl, you're getting that girl. So the more girls that you're attracting, the more girls you'll attract. The less girls you're attracting, the less girls you'll attract. And so what it is that, I mean, this is the part people don't get. What it is that if you're in a situation where you're having a hard time attracting women, what you have to do is first, in order to get out of that, you have to give yourself some small wins so that you can start getting back into the direction of winning. So for example, instead of worrying about, hooking up with a bunch of girls, say, you know what, I'm just going to approach women and see if I can have some good conversations. And then what's going to happen is that you're going to start to get into a flow of just having, good conversations. Let's say you try to approach 10 women, 2 of them stop and talk to you. Okay, cool. I had 2 good conversations. Let me go back again and let me have some more good conversations tomorrow, whatever. So you're getting into that flow of doing that. Because you're doing that, what it does is that it gets you in a more positive state. You're just more in a more positive energy. Now, what happens is that because you're in that positive energy, when you talk to more women are going to be more receptive to you because you're in a more positive, fun, engaging energy. Then you move on to the next step of, Leah, let's exchange numbers. Let's get together. Let's go on a date. So now so you went from getting rejected to just trying to look for cool, positive interactions to the point now you're going on dates. So now what happens is that because you're going on dates and because you're hooking up and because you're doing all these other things, the next girls you're talking to, right? You're a guy who's less sexually frustrated. You're a guy who's less anxious to talk to women because you've been talking to women and having positive interactions. So the thing is that the more that you're having those positive interactions with women and things are going smoothly, the more you're going to attract more women, because the more women that encounter you, you are a guy that they see as more attractive because you're more chill. You see what I'm saying? But you're more chill because you've gone in that direction and you've been working on the situation to get yourself in that situation. It's almost like, for example, I'll say this real quick. It's like when you don't have a lot, when you don't have money, when you have like hardly any money and you're kind of like, struggling or whatever, it's like you're frustrated, like, man, I don't have any money. This is crazy. Nothing's really happening. And then let's say, for example, you get a good job, and let's say you start, getting paid more, you start getting more money, you start saving more money, you have more money to probably invest into something else, and then it builds up and builds and builds and builds because now you're going in this direction. You see what I'm saying? So the key is you have to be conscious of which direction you are headed in at all times, and that will help you navigate to say, oh, you know what? I'm actually going in a downward spiral of rejection and frustration. Let me try to actually change the direction of the energy and say, you know what, let me stop being frustrated and let me look for a win. Let me look for something positive in this situation so I can go more in a positive direction. You see what I'm saying?
You know what? It's interesting you said that too, because like, when I'm working on stuff, I have my periods where, things get frustrated, but I always try to look for a win in something, and it kind of gets me back on track. So I agree with you 100% on that.
Think about it this way. And I'll give you a perfect example. Let's say you have a guy who's frustrated and getting rejected, right? And he approaches a girl and he talks to her and he says, he's like, hey, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. And then the girl's like, oh, I just don't feel like talking right now. Or she just gives him some kind of like off-putting comment or whatever, right?
Right.
Because he's so frustrated about getting rejected and because he's so negative about the situation, right? His demeanor might be like, he might either just like walk away with his head down, or he might even like lash out at her like, well, F you, and why you acting, you know, like he'll just have that energy, right? Now, versus a guy who's in that positive mind frame, he's saying what's up to the girl, and the girl says the same exact thing. She's like, I just don't feel like talking to you right now, whatever, right? And so the guy who's positive, he might respond just positively and just make a joke or just make it fun. He'd be like, yeah, I get that you don't want to talk to me right now because you usually are probably not used to talking to guys as sexy as me. I get it. It's okay. You know what I mean? And then she might laugh at that, and then they might end up having a conversation. You see what I'm saying? So like, because he was positive, regardless of what she was saying or doing, right? He was, in some cases, you're able to break through that energy and then switch the energy to make this situation more positive, versus the first guy who was feeling negative and down. He just takes that and then adds that on to the negativity. You see what I'm saying?
So like the key then is like, so even when you're going through the rejections and going through the frustration, is to stay positive through the situation. And so you keep on projecting that energy. And like the more like you project that energy and you're positive, and the more you go out there and approach women, the more you're going to have a chance of, you know, getting more women.
Exactly, right. Yeah. And that's all mindset. You see what I'm saying? It's the mindset of understanding that no matter what's happening in the interaction, you are not controlled or influenced or swayed by the interactions with the women. And so what happens is that you have complete control of the direction you're going. You see what I'm saying? Because what happens is a lot of guys, they're very reactionary towards it. Because, for example, sometimes, you know, if you go out with your friends and you guys are going out to like pick up girls and talk to girls, the problem with that sometimes is when you go out with your friends to pick up girls, you're more worried about impressing your friends than picking up girls. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Exactly.
Right. You're out there picking up the girls, but you're doing it to see if your friends are going to think you're cool. You understand? So you're not really thinking about the actual interaction with the girl. You're just trying to look cool in front of your friends. You see what I'm saying? And so that also happens where guys are, you know, doing it in ways or doing things where they're looking for the validation from their friends through the interaction versus just feeling validated on their own regardless of what happens. And this is where confidence and having that mindset comes in, is that no matter what's happening, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, exactly. No, it's funny you say that though, because like I just remember too, like when I got with, you know, friends and our focus was just to go pick up chicks and stuff. They're like, so you're gonna approach that girl, or like when are you gonna go talk to the girl? Talk to that girl. I'm like, I'll do it, and that puts the pressure on you too. Like, you get that pressure and shit. You just can't do it. But I eventually tell them I'll do it when I'm ready. And if some friends will be like, "Do you need our help?" I'm like, "No, I'm good, man. You know, just be warmed up." Like, no, I'll never forget. I was out, last Saturday, and I was, two buddies. There was this group of girls, and the guys like, "Do you need our help?" I'm like, "No, I'll go talk to the girls." I had that energy. I was just like, boom, boom, and they actually like, I don't know, their energy didn't match mine, so they kind of ejected from the situation. I'm like, "Where'd you guys go, man?" They're like, "Well, it looks like you took care of all that for it,"
Right. That happens sometimes,
Yeah, and but no, I definitely agree that can be a distraction. I don't know. That's why, like, sometimes it's best. Like, I actually, when I was started on this journey a couple years back, was really putting my time and effort into this. I'd go out on my own, even at nighttime too, and it was weird because like I used to like always be like anxious and stuff going out, out on my own at nighttime. But like, my mentor always taught me to be social with other people, not just women. And that kind of, got me into the state of mind. It warmed me up and stuff. And, I was really comfortable with that, and I had fun, like especially when I've been to go to Las Vegas a lot, since it's like right down the, 4-hour drive. And, I'll go out there and just talk to girls during the day. And it's so weird. Like, ever since I've gone to Vegas, like I've always had one encounter with a girl, and like I've never had it. Like I just approach her during the day and we do something at nighttime. And like I've never had this experience until now. It's like, wow, it's like life is like changed.
Right. No, and the thing is, I think when it comes to guys learning and improving and stuff, most of it is where guys have to be in a situation where they're getting rejected and their things are not going their way, but also getting situations where things are going their way. You understand? Because I think what happens is that a lot of times guys have more situations where things aren't going their way or things aren't going the way they expected. And so that compounds and compounds and compounds, and then it just stops them from even getting to the point where things are going their way. And I think it's and also I think what it is too is that the expectations, I think, when it comes to this, are too unrealistic for most men, and which is why most guys feel like failures, or they feel like, you know, they're never going to get progress. Because the problem is that you have guys out there who, you know, and unfortunately it's like the way that you know, this type of stuff is marketed when it's trying to teach guys how to get girls, is like, hey, just say these 3 magic words and then these girls are gonna, you know, jump in your lap, and you're gonna get 8s, 9s, and 10s if you just do this one thing. And so guys, they don't understand the actual work that goes into this. You understand? Like, there's a lot of work that goes into being the type of guy who can, on a consistent basis, get the type of women that he wants. And this is where you become advanced in the game. And so in order to become advanced, all you're really doing is a lot of basic things over and over and over again. You understand what I'm saying? And then what happens is that you start to learn more about yourself through those basic things you're doing over and over again. So, for example, just even like a guy just approaching a girl, just like straight up going, approaching her, approaching a girl after girl after girl, and having conversations. The more you do that, the better you get at conversations, because you're having more conversations with more women. The better you your confidence goes up, because you're like, I'm not actually scared to approach women anymore because I do this a lot. You know, so you start to get these things, and then you become more advanced, and then you learn more about yourself, because then what happens is that since you're in these interactions, you'll actually learn more about what works for you or what doesn't work for you. You'll learn about the types of girls that you usually are able to attract easily, and the ones that you're not able to attract as easily. Like, you learn all these things based off of you putting yourself out there and really like honing in on what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, you know what, one thing I'm working on more is being like more authentic and stuff, and just speaking what's on my mind. And
Right.
I didn't think I could get away with saying certain things around girls, like, in first meeting them. But I was surprised, and I was like, wow, I can actually do this. Like, I just recently too, like, when I get on the dating apps, I started doing this about like a week ago. But instead of asking for the girl's number, I just like throw my number out there and ask for myself. And it's so weird. I've been getting a lot of like replies back. I wanted to try something different, and because I'm just tired of BS. And I hear what you guys talk about, on your shows and stuff. I'm like, I'm going to go give this a try, because I want to see if it works. And it worked for me. And I find by being like, I'm learning more too, to be more clear with the girls, like, telling them like why I'm there talking to them, because like I don't know, like over this past year, I've had a lot of experience and stuff. I've had more women in my life, and I've dealt with a lot of flaky women. But I realized this by being more clear and stuff and transparent. Like, I know which type of girls are going to waste my time and which ones are going to stick around.
Right, and that's the thing. It's like I was saying earlier, is that all of that, as far as women flaking, women being rejecting you, women having let's say like rude type of energy or attitudes when you approach them. All those things are just natural. That's part of the whole thing. I think a lot of times as guys, we try to get away from that, and you can't. It's impossible. You know what I mean? You're always going to have to deal with that type of stuff. So this is why I tell guys, you can't let that part of it get to you. Because just like in sports, like every basketball player misses a shot, or they're going to miss multiple shots. The greatest to the worst basketball players are always going to miss shots. But the only points that count is when the ball goes in the hoop. You feel what I'm saying? So
exactly.
How much shots you miss. So even if I was out and I talked to 15 or 20 girls, and let's say I made a connection with one, that's all I needed. You understand? I didn't need all of them to get with me. I got that one right there, and I can go get another one if I talk to this girl or that girl. So you're never going to run out of women. You know what I'm saying? You can approach women whenever you want. You know what I'm saying? You can set your schedule and your time to deal with women whenever you want to deal with them. So there's really nothing that is stopping any guy, or there's really nothing that makes it to where a guy can't do the things he wants to do to get what he wants to get out of the situation. You see what I'm saying? He just needs to understand that part of the game is rejection. Part of the game is flakiness. Part of the game is women who are going to ghost you. Part of the game is women who are going to do that type of stuff. But on the flip side, the women actually wanting to be with you, hooking up with you, dating you, treating you like, you're the best thing that she's ever been with is also part of the game. Mm-hmm. But the problem is guys don't get to that part because they give up on themselves before they can get to that part. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. But I think a lot of guys too, they got to like just learn how to like have emotional intelligence and deal with the emotions. And I think they sometimes fail to see that everything's a process, and you're going to have your wins and your losses, right. And you can't like win all the time. And shit, dude, I wouldn't want to win all the time because I don't think I can handle dating like a million women at once.
Right, exactly.
I'd be broke.
Yeah, because if it was that easy, man, like dudes, that's the funny part. Guys wouldn't even want to deal with that anyway. And most of the time, most guys just really need like or can handle one woman that they're at a time, I should say. You know what I'm saying? In most cases, that they're just having a good time with. And I always say, I'm like, how hard is it actually for you to get one girl right now to want to deal with you? It's really not that hard. And most guys make it seem like a big deal because they're watching so many things that's telling them that they can't. They're listening to certain things that's telling them women are evil and women are going to mess everything up and all this other stuff. They're listening to all these things, and what they're doing is that they're taking the flakes, the rejections, and all that other stuff way too seriously at first, and they don't really embrace it. You understand? Because that's the easy part. It's easy for the rejections to happen because, truth be told, most women, most of the women that you meet, they're not going to be into you because they're not supposed to be into you. I say flip it like this. Let's say us as men, we're just chilling and women just approach us and say, hey, do you want to marry me? Do you want to be in a long-term relationship? We'll probably say no to like 90-something% of women. You know, we'd be like, hell no. You know what I mean? Like, imagine a bunch of women you're not attracted to or that's crazy or you think is weird telling you, hey, they're not even talking about sex. They're not talking about anything necessarily that you want. They're just like, hey, I want you to be in a long-term relationship, committed with me, just me. And you'll be like, wait, hold on. I'm not really feeling you like that. I decline. You understand? Because just like when we get into situations where we're hooking up with girls, there's times that certain girls want to be with us exclusively. And sometimes we might reject them. We might say, no, we might have sex with them a couple times and never call them again, or we might hook up with them a few times, but we just, that's it. That's all we're interested in at that time for that particular girl. So they're going to, receive rejections too. The same way we receive rejections, they receive rejections. The only difference is we receive rejections on the front end, whereas women receive rejections generally on the back end. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so that's usually what happens,
No, I hear you. No, so everyone gets rejected then.
Everybody's getting rejected. That's how it is. The whole thing,
That's the whole part. Like, I guess that's how this goes, right? Mm-hmm. Like, girls get rejected. I mean, both parties get rejected. Right. I don't know. Like, some guys think women never get rejected, though.
Oh, please. And that's women on a pedestal. Women get rejected. They get flaked on. Everything that happens to men also happens to women. The only thing that guys don't understand or they don't realize this is what happens is that it seems like it's easier for women because what it is that women have more availability up front, meaning because we're approaching them, we're talking to them, we're pursuing them. Mm-hmm. So up front, it seems like they have more options. But generally what happens is that they don't necessarily have more options. It just appears that way. The reason why it appears that way is because a bunch of guys are trying to get at them. The problem is, though, is that for women, 90% of the guys that try to get with them, they're not attracted to. And then the 10% of guys that they are attracted to, right, are the 10% of guys that most other women are attracted to. So there's a competition for the top guys. You understand? Right. And this is why women get flaked on. This is why women get ghosted. This is why women get stood up, because what happens is that a lot of these guys who are attractive to women, these guys hook up with these girls, some of these girls will catch feelings. Not all of them, but some of them will catch feelings. And those same guys they're hooking up with are hooking up with other women. And so therefore, these guys who know game and who are attractive and who understand how to get women, they're having a field day. So this is why women will get rejected after a while or get flaked on and all that other stuff, because they're choosing, in most cases, and not all the time, because they'll still, get with an average guy here and there, but they're choosing the best guy they can get, because they're like, hey, all these guys are coming to approach me. I'm going to choose the best one out of who's approaching me. What I teach guys is how to become that best guy. You understand? in these situations, so that you have the abundance of women that want to deal with you. You see what I mean?
Right. No, I hear you, man. No, that's true, man. Yes, that way kind of like help you increase your chances. Like, I know, and that's something like I've sought out to learn, because like I said, I'm a very shy guy, and I had to learn, and I was not really confident to talk to women, like I said, in public places, and that's something I had to overcome. And I still get it I still have my days where I slack off, but it happens, but. I'm always seeking to like improve myself and learning, who I am and what I need to do and what challenges I'm facing. But I mean, I'm just, like I said, like I'm like doing this for a while. I just seen like these past few years and just a whole lot of improvement, man. It's just like, I never thought I'd get there. Like it's weird though. Like I mentioned this on another stream, but like, I've had, like, I always thought you had to be in some sort of a relationship just to have a sexual encounter with a girl, and like, boy, was I wrong when that's one belief I know I didn't have, and it was so weird that I didn't have to have an attachment to someone. I could have like a sexual attraction towards someone and a vibe with someone, but I didn't need to have that like relationship thing, which is good.
Right.
And I don't know. I think like a lot of guys like think that way. They got to have a relationship thing before they sleep with a girl, or
that's because they've been programmed to think that. But also, the reason why they think they need to have a relationship before they can sleep with a girl, or they'll feel like they have to have a long-term relationship or be with a woman and spend a lot of time, is because what happens is that when a guy's game is weak, when he doesn't understand himself, he doesn't understand women, he doesn't understand how to attract women, he's more susceptible to following a woman's lead. And so what happens is that he gets with a girl, and the girl is like, hey, he's thinking, I want to have sex, I want to have some fun, whatever. That's what he's thinking at first. And the girl says, well, I'm not that type of girl. You got to get to know me. We have to like go on a bunch of dates, and you have to talk on the phone with me, whatever. So that guy consistently deals with those types of, or women that come at him that way, right? Those same girls, they're just saying that to him, but to other guys that they're attracted to, they'll have sex with them, first day or whatever. But what happens is that this guy's reality is, most women say, you got to get to know me. Most women are saying, we got to, take it slow. Most women are saying, we got to spend time on the phone and all this other stuff. So that becomes his reality. So now he's thinking, well, I guess I got to take it slow, get to know her, and be in a relationship with her so that I can have sex. You see what I'm saying? And so that becomes his reality. But the reason why that's his reality is because women don't see him as that attractive alpha male, sexually dominant type of guy that they want to do right now. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so that's the thing. It's a way you got to switch up your stuff. You see what
exactly. I mean? Well, say you're running good game on a girl and you're kind of showing sexual attraction and shit. Like even if you go to put the move and she doesn't like put the move on you, and she gives you some BS excuse about like, I don't do that. Can she somewhat be conditioned to think that way too, or do you think it's both of what you're just said and what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. What happens is that sometimes the girl will still act that way or be that way. The problem though is that as a guy, you have to be unmovable, meaning that you have to have your stance and you have to stick with it. So if you're, let's say for example, you want to hook up with the girls or whatever, and this girl that you're talking to, she's like, oh, but I'm not like that. And all you do is say, hey, well, I respect the fact you're not like that, but this is what I want to do. So what you can do is, you have my phone number. When you're ready to do this thing, just give me a call. You know what I mean? Like, and then we're cool. And so what happens is that the fact that you're willing to walk away from her, but it does two things. One, it lets her know the type of guy that you are, meaning that, okay, well, I guess, he's this type of guy that He's, this is what he wants. And if I want any type of interaction with him, I have to follow what he's doing. And two, what it does is that it increases your confidence because now you know you have the balls to just walk away.
Right, exactly.
And then so what happens is that what you're doing is you're conditioning yourself to become that type of guy. You understand? That top guy who's the attractive guy. Because sometimes what happens is it's not about, and this is the thing, it's not about getting any one particular girl. It's about becoming the type of guy that women in general see as the type of guy that they can't play games with. But in order for you to become that type of guy, you have to consistently be the type of guy they can't play games with. So that means you're going to have to lose some women. That means you're going to have to tell some women bye-bye. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even though you don't get them. You see what I mean?
Right. And you always talk, I always hear you guys talk about being consistent in your actions when you're around a woman too. Because like a woman can will check for inconsistencies, and when she finds incongruencies, that she'll end up playing you.
Yeah.
And show you you're not a real man.
Exactly. Because it's like, you know what it is? It's really, see, women generally are looking, they like stability. They like security. You understand? In a lot of cases, in what they're the interactions they're having. See, the reason why, for example, when they say nice guys finish last, the reason why women don't like nice guys and not attracted to nice guys is because nice guys are inconsistent. You understand what I'm saying? And the reason why they're inconsistent is because they're pretending to be nice because they're not really, they're just doing what they feel the woman wants to see and hear. But then when they don't get what they want from the woman, then they start acting like assholes. They're like, oh, well, I took you out here and I did this. And how come, so she's like, what's up with this dude? Now, what happens is that she's experienced that before. So now when she gets in front of another guy who's the nice guy, she's like, oh, he's this type of guy again. So therefore she's like, I'm not even really trying to deal with this dude. Right. And the nice guy is like, well, wait a second, I'm being nice. And he doesn't realize why that's not working. It's not working because she knows that you're inconsistent. Whereas they say guys, women like bad boys, in the jerks or whatever. The reason why is because the quote unquote bad boy or the jerk is more consistent, meaning that he sometimes is a cool, chill guy, and sometimes he might be a jerk. But what happens is that his character or who he is consistent, meaning that he's that way because that's his personality. You see what I'm saying? So she's getting to see the real personality, which is more consistent and congruent, which makes her want to gravitate to him, in that manner.
Right.
Versus the nice guy pretending,
Now, do you think the problem with the nice guy too is the nice guy has a hard time conveying like sexual confidence and making the moves on a lady, Because I remember, I don't have that problem anymore. I always go for a kiss. I always try to talk, say something sexual to a girl when I see her. But that was one hurdle of mine like a long time ago because I was always afraid to do that for being, finding, maybe with Me Too or maybe offending the girl and having her not like me. I mean, don't you think that's another possible trait of a nice guy is this, the inability to convey, to sexually escalate or whatever you want to call it with a woman?
Right. Well, yeah, definitely. And the reason why that is because, like I was saying earlier too, is that his reality is women telling him, hey, let's take it slow. Hey, I'm this type of girl. And so what happens is nice guys, they're always hearing what women say in public. And I'll break this down. Women are socialized to act one way in the public eye, meaning they're going to act like they're all, like church girls who wait and they're not sexual and, they don't have one night stands. Right. So the nice guys hear that. And so what happens is that the nice guy's objective is to get the girl to like him. So what he says, oh, I heard that women like it when you take them out to nice dinners and spend time to get to know them on the phone. So the nice guy's doing everything he heard that the woman wants. You see what I'm saying? So now that triggers the women to say, oh, he's just doing the things that I want him to do. And this is why he's not being sexual with her or he's scared to be sexual with her because he's heard women say, I don't just get sexual like that. I gotta get to know a guy, blah, blah, blah. So
Right.
he's just following her lead. The guy who understands women and understands game, or even just the guy who's the bad boy, he's so about himself and about what he wants and what he's about. He doesn't care whether or not the woman likes him or not. Like, even if he's attracted, he's like, well, yeah, I like you, but who cares? Like, if you don't want to mess with me, then whatever. I don't care. I'm not gonna sit here and so that's attractive to a woman, because what happens is that she's like, oh, he's not following the rhetoric that us as women have put out there. He's being his own man. He's being himself. You understand? And that's attractive to the women. You understand? And then the guys who really get good at dealing with women and attracting women, they know the real nature of women as sexual beings, as women who want to, beings who want to be led and all this other stuff. So now what happens is that because those guys understand that, right, they're able to come at women a different way, and therefore they're able to get what they want sexually from women and have those interactions and situations, because the women are like, okay, this guy's a nice guy, but this guy over here gets it. So I'm going to give it to the guy that gets it because he gets it. You see what I'm saying? Like, he knows. The other guy doesn't. So I'm not gonna deal with him. You see what I'm saying?
Right. I know you're talking. Yeah, exactly. You know what I've always. This is a funny thing. Like, so when I don't know if this is a test or anything, but I sometimes tell girls, women, when we go out on dates, we're going to meet up for a drink, okay?
Right.
And then they end up ordering. They want some food, and I said drinks,
Right.
But I end up telling, when the check comes, I'm like, put the food on her bill, and I'll pay for. I got the drinks.
Right.
I never heard like that. I think one girl. One time I did that to a girl. We did have sex, but there were a few other girls, like, they got all pissed off at me because I didn't do it. But I told you, I was clear that we were having drinks. It wasn't dinner. I told you I was eating.
Right. Exactly. And that's the thing, where a lot of guys who are nice guys, they would just pay for everything. Like, all right, well, whatever, let me pay. And it's like, it's okay. I tell guys, it's okay to let a girl know that you're not going to do those things, or you're not into that, or whatever. And it's okay to lose out on the girl. Because really what you didn't really lose out. What it is that girl wasn't probably interested in you like that anyway. And so what would happen is that you would have just wasted more time with a woman who isn't really into you. So at least now she's not into you, and then you don't got to waste more time with her. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. And that's why I just I'm really clear with the girls that I'm going out with now, because I just want to know who's down and who's not down.
Right. Exactly.
I went out with this one girl not too long ago. We did a FaceTime. We went on a date, and I kissed her at the end of the day, and she's like sending me selfies of herself. And then I invited her back. I invited her over the following weekend to watch movie and stuff, because she was telling me she's in the Marvel films. I'm into that Marvel stuff, and and the vibe was pretty great. And then she's like, well, I'm feel uncomfortable doing that, and I'm like, I just can't waste my time. This to me didn't show interest, because I don't know how she could be uncomfortable when we FaceTime twice and then we met in person.
Right, exactly. No, that's what happens. Is those are the type of girls who have medium or low interest, or even no interest sometimes, where they're saying those things, but they're not feeling it, and so. A lot of times, guys, they're scared to get rid of those girls, because they're like, well, maybe if I try harder or give her one more chance to do it. And it's like, you're just wasting time. This girl's not into you. Just call it a day. Find another girl. It's like, save your energy and find another girl who's interested. That's all it is.
Right. And that's one thing I've learned, you're going to you're going to go out there, you're going to meet people, go on dates and stuff. And I've learned just not to waste your energy, because I used to waste my energy chasing after girls I knew who weren't interested, but I learned that's just not worth the time, because I realized there's I can talk to girls, I can go out on dates, I've gone on a lot of dates, I can get numbers, so I'm not worried about it if I have to this girl's not being compliant with me, and I can just kick her to the curb.
Right. Exactly.
No, but a lot of people have a hard time. Some guys might have a hard time doing that.
Yeah, because they're in scarcity. They're like, I can't lose her because I have nothing else. And so they're trying to make that work because they have nothing else to go on. But again, like I said, there's millions of girls out there, billions of girls out there that they can talk to. They're never going to run out of women, and they can do this at any point, at any time, whenever they want to. You can literally, if a guy wanted to all day, I don't suggest this, but you know, because you should have other things going on in your life. But a guy can literally all day talk to women and interact with women and get with women, because you can go outside your house when it's a situation where it's late at night, maybe 3 o'clock in the morning, you can still be online talking to women on dating apps. Oh, it's like, it's endless. They're all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So it's you're never going to run out of you know, women to talk to and then women to get with. So if this girl don't like you, there's more women that's feeling you. It's like that you just got to find those women. It's crazy.
Right, exactly. Now, question: you think, you know, because of the whole online dating thing, that kind of keeps men from like going out there and actually trying to go and meet women in person?
Oh
You think-
yeah, definitely, yeah. Because a lot of these dudes, what it is that they look at online dating as you know, it's easier, or not necessarily easier, but it's less of, or you don't have to deal with rejection up front, meaning like, I don't got to approach her and then get rejected in my face. But the problem is with online, you know, online is good, but what happens is that I always suggest guys to do everything. So yeah, do online, but still go out, still interact with women. I always say this: getting a girl offline, meaning just if you go outside, go to a bar, go to a club, go to an event, go out just out in the park, whatever, getting women in those environments is way easier than online. You understand? Unless you're the type of guy who knows how to do online. Now, if you know how to do online dating, then you could clean up on online dating. But for most guys, outside is better. You understand what I'm saying? It's way better because you have more to work with. Like I've always had an easier time, you know, meeting women like just in public and outside than actually online. You understand? Because the thing with online is women are way more pickier online. You understand?
right. No, I hear you.
Yeah, and you have less to work with online. Like you have, you know, your pictures and your bio, but in person you have body language, you got the tone of your voice, you got the real-time interaction back and forth. It's just so much more, and it's just you and her. So she's not distracted by all the people in her inbox. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing. You know what I mean?
Right, that's true. Yeah, because plus I think too, like you can actually like when you do the in-person thing, it's a lot easier to like, you know, kind of build that attraction and connection with a woman. Rather, I mean, you could, I guess you can. There's ways to do it online through like the FaceTime stuff, but no, when you're actually there, and plus like you can tell right away too if the woman's going to waste your time or not. But
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
You do that online too. So
right, exactly. So you know, it's just, you know, but I say do everything. You do everything. I think a lot of times guys get lazy and they just want to do the online thing, thinking that's going to make it easier in certain situations. They're like, oh, well, I could just hit up all these girls, which is true. You hit up a bunch of different girls. The problem is, though, is that the culture of online dating lends itself to where there's less investment. And so this is the problem. The less investment there is, the easier it is to fall back from the situation. So what that means is that if you match with a girl online, let's say you say something and she's like, oh, I don't like that he said that. She'll just unmatch you. The reason why she'll unmatch you and forget about the situation is because online dating required less investment on her end. You see what I'm saying? Versus if you, let's say, for example, met a girl at a bar that you were like, let's say you were leaving a bar, you saw a girl as you was leaving, you're like, hey, what's up? You start talking to her. Let's exchange numbers and let's get together sometime. And then y'all connect again on the phone and you say, hey, meet me out at this place on Friday. So now she has to invest in, you know, getting ready, traveling to the place, all that other stuff. So there's more investment on her part if she meets you out for that date that you planned versus if you just talk to someone for 2 minutes on an app, she can just, there's no investment there. You see what I'm saying? Like it's easier to fall back because you don't really have to put in any work to get to that point. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Now, what if for someone who's just probably wants to learn how to meet women in person and maybe been online and using the apps for a lot, when they're first trying to do that, do you recommend they kind of take a break from the apps, or that you still recommend they do both? Because I mean, it could be a distraction though if they're getting some success on the apps, you know, and then they're not doing it on person.
Right.
In person, I should start. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, I mean, I always say to do everything all at once, just in general.
Okay.
Because I don't think you should stop any one thing, because even though I do think, you know, meeting people just offline in person is a little bit easier and whatever. I still think that because I met my girlfriend, my current girlfriend right now online. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so it's it's still a good thing because you can still meet women, good women. But
Right.
what I would say is that I don't think a guy should stop any part of it. Like I don't think a guy should just approach women outside and then disregard online. And I don't think a guy should just be online and disregard outside. You know what I mean? I say
Right.
combine everything. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Like do everything all at once and exhaust all possibilities. And that's what I say to guys too, because when you exhaust all possibilities, then what happens is that you give yourself more options to meet women. So you can, I say,
Exactly.
even online, outside your social circle, like if you have friends, be like, yo, any cool girls, like tell them to hook you up with their friends or whatever. Like whatever, however you can get it, make it happen. Because
Right, exactly.
all it does is it can lead to better experiences with women. And I think that's one of the big things that guys have to understand or get is that you want to get into a zone or a mindset or just an experience of having better experiences and situations with women, because I think that keeps your sort of like your attitude positive when it comes to dealing with women, having better experiences with women and more experiences that are positive versus
Right.
I'm getting rejected all the time and all these women are messed up and they only want, Chad and Tyrone and these super good looking guys and they can go down this spiral and it's crazy,
Right. No, that's true. And
Mhm.
yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they got to like just kind of, they got to have the, kind of cherish those positive experiences, go out there and create them for themselves. And yeah, they got to like, especially like, won't go too much into this, but all that stuff you hear, the stuff on the internet, the different types of communities out there and everything.
Right.
I feel that could be a bit of a distraction because, like, I will say I was distracted by a certain community, and I had to realize that I had to take a step backward because, like, this community just wasn't, what they were talking about dating and women and stuff just wasn't serving my mindset, and I wanted to be more an authentic mindset, and they were just complaining about this and that, and it just, and when I go out there and I had these rejections and shit, like. I would think it's because of this. I'm not high value or something like that.
Right, exactly.
And I realized at one point I had to put myself in check and just kind of like, I realized that those were just all labels and everything. And like, that's not, the reason why, the reason why is you're letting that label and everything affect you and label, define you as a person.
Right, exactly. That's real talk. I agree. I agree.
So, but yeah, hey, we're coming close up in the hour here. Anything you want to close out with on this discussion, then let people know where they can find you?
Yeah, well, definitely want to thank you for having me, man. I appreciate you having me on your channel, man. Definitely. And appreciate everybody is watching and tuning in. Make sure you guys go to badboymembership.com. That is the Bad Boy Membership Program. That's where you get 45 through 90-minute audio and video dating advice tutorials every month. So every month I drop a new dating advice tutorial that will help you in the dating game. And also you can get my documentary for free, which is called Game Kings. You can get that for free on the Bad Boy Membership, or if you want it by itself, you can go to my main site, which is mrlocario.com. And on mrlocario.com, you can find all of my other programs, books, all that other stuff. You see what I'm saying? And you can make that happen, definitely.
Rock on. And I definitely agree, guys. Go check out Mr. Locario's stuff. Like, I'm seeing, I got your book, How to Have Sex with Two Women a Day, but like what, and but I listen to all the stuff that you talk about. And I think that's valuable, and other guys should go out there and listen to stuff that's going to help your mind and not destroy your mindset.
Exactly. Right.
And yeah, and I want to thank you for coming on the show. And I'd definitely be down for having you on, like, again, like maybe next month, and we can talk about something else. I really like the flow we got going on here. Like I think we kind of both have the same perspective on things when it comes to this particular area.
Right.
And so definitely thank you again for coming on. And like, I was so excited that you were coming on, because you're like, I remember listening to you like 2 years ago, and now I have you on my channel here.
That's
So
what's up.
yeah, guys, and remember, you can if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe, and I'm actually gonna. My book is almost gonna be done soon. It's just on like the pillars of confidence and everything, and so I look forward to once that's done. I will definitely be posting that, and you can go to my website, Command Your Confidence, and check out some of the stuff I have there. And until next time, we will see you again. Rock on, everyone.
Peace.